Hey everyone, let's do a couple of quick little videos for day 3 here. Part A is about our basic perimeters, and we're talking about the rectangle. And the rectangle is the one that kind of makes the most sense to us. It's easy for us to kind of just count the distance around a rectangle. You know, you get 2 sides of 4, 2 sides of 7. So the basic way is just saying 4 plus 7 and 4 plus 7. You could say it's 2 times 4 plus 2 times 7, or you could say that 4 plus 7 is 11, and then double that, because once your half is around, doubles 22. So lots of ways to get 22. And then area, of course, is counting the squares that are on the inside, and rectangles are awesome because it's made up of little squares. And again, you can count them, or you can go 7 rows of 4, 4 rows of 7, but in the end, it's length times width, or base times height, and you have 28 squares in there. The ones that you kind of did in our activity, a little more complicated. You want to find your distance around. So sometimes it's just nice to write down the numbers. This is a 6. You're going down 1. You're going horizontal 2, going down 1. You're going horizontal 2, going down 1, and then 10 and 4. So you take all those numbers again, and it looks like I started at the 4 corner and added them up, and we got a perimeter of 28. When it comes time for area, then I chose to kind of make 3 sections. You kind of see my little red line scribbled in here. So my first rectangle is 6 by 4. It's 6 across the top and 4. My second one is 2 across and 3 down. My last one is 2 by 2. So I found my 3 areas and I added them up. And then again, when you talk about triangles and rectangles, the reason I like putting these together, it's just for me, it reminds me that triangles are always half the area of a rectangle. So if I want to figure out the area of a triangle, if I can draw the rectangle that kind of surrounds it. So if it's a base of 6 and a base of 8 and a height of 6, I can draw my triangle anywhere across the top here, and this shaded area will always be half of the 48. So it'll always be 24. All right, so that's a quick review of our basic area and perimeter. Shape that we haven't talked about yet is in part B here. It's about area and perimeter, which is called circumference for circles. There's one area formula, pi times r squared, pi times radius. There's 2 different formulas for circumference. It's 2 pi r, because 2 radius is equal to a diameter. So if you know the radius, you should use 2 pi r formula. If you know the diameter, you should use pi times diameter formula. So the first 2 examples we have here, we're given diameter. Diameter all the way across through the middle is 14. So I have 14 times pi. And ideally, you're going to use the pi button on your calculator. You're not going to use 3.14. And the same thing for number 2 then. Pi times 19.8, because we're given the diameter. And then quite often we just round things off to the nearest tenth. And for number 3 and number 4, you're given the radius. So I switched my formulas to represent I have the radius. It's only from the center to the edge is 9. So my circumference is 2 times pi times r, 2 times pi times 9, rounding off to 1 decimal. And then same thing for number 12, 2 times pi times 12, rounding off to 1 decimal. Then area, the formula changes. It's pi r squared. So it's nice in the first question, I'm given a radius of 9.3. So I like to write it out as pi times 9.3 times 9.3. It just reminds me that squaring is multiplying by itself. And again, I'm using the pi button on my calculator. I'm not using 3.14. And then I'm rounding to 1 decimal place. Question 6, the radius is 3, pi times 3 times 3. Questions 7 and 8 are a little bit different though, because I'm given a diameter. The diameter is 16. The radius is half of 16, so my radius is 8. So pi times radius squared, pi times 8 times 8. Again, run it off to 1 decimal place. And then the last one, the diameter is 12, so the radius is 6, pi times 6 times 6. All right, so that's a real quick run through of some complicated shapes and working with circles.